Like that time that I was pregnant, I've had 3 miscarriages. The I think it was the second evacuation. They said we should go to the army.
No, we went to
the army hospital.
Montgomery General Hospital. That was where we went first.
Yes. And
the crowd
there
was crazy.
And then you were like, it was that time that you are very impatient with.
Was I impatient?
Very, very.
But I saw the crowd. The crowd was this long.
For me, I would have waited because of my life. Because I know they can help me here. But you were like, no, we can't. You can't.
Because I went and told them that your case is emergency.
And they said everybody
there is emergency. Everybody there is emergency. I would have how can everybody here be emergency?
I would have still waited. But you were like, we should go now. And to that hospital. Now, I don't know them. I've never had any experience with military hospital or something.
I've had.
But you've had. So I have to trust you with my life at that point.
So it was your life that day.
Of course.
Things nearly went ugly that day.
You can imagine.
Because the man we met that day, that we went to meet that did the evacuation, the man did it as PP.
Yes.
Instead of taking you into the hospital, just collected money from us, took you inside, in like about 5 minutes, just brought you out and said I should be taking you home.
It was just God.
I will never forget that day. It was crazy.
It was just God.
You just told me that you wanted to go and use the toilet, and when you got there, something just dropped from your body.
Thank God you were following me behind.
I started picking fetus that had burst inside of you, and I was throwing it into the toilet, and you started bleeding profusely.
Remember that even when we got home, I almost died.
You nearly died. That was the day I ran to the pharmacy. I think Pastor K and all of them were in the living room.
What's the name of that small
drug?
Egot.
They asked me, I will never forget that day. I ran to the pharmacy. I had no dime. I took my phones and I placed it on the table of the pharmacist. I said, please take these phones. Give me the drugs that I need. I will come back with the money. Dr. Hakim, God bless that man. And he just said,
go with your phone.
Go with your phone.
He didn't even collect money at the end.
He didn't collect money from us at the end. And you use that hand. So, growing together, you see, because there will be times when you have to trust your spouse to make decisions on your behalf.
When I had COVID.
Wow, that was another time again.
And
they said they should bring the ambulance to come and pick you.
And you said no.
I said, no ambulance is taking my wife out of this house.
Well, face it here.
We are facing it here together. That's no ambulance, because I just couldn't imagine the way they were doing during COVID now.
Yes.
Once you call that hotline, they will just come in with ambulance, making all sort of noise. And when they come to carry somebody that has COVID, all of them will mask from head to toe.
I believe, I don't know if I'm sure, that if it is not virus, a lot of people that had it would have survived if they were not alone. If they were with their loved ones. Because looking at you and Ndubuisi together.
Because you burst into tears
giving me that courage and strength made me to
overcome it. Wow. Number 5. Growing together means handling conflicts constructively. Now, constructively. That's the word. You understand? This means less finger pointing and more problem solving.
And
like
that day that we were coming from the hospital, from that military hospital.
Wow.
And all those things happened. Wow. I would have just said, chauffeur pamini, and put all the blame.
That's finger pointing.
Do you want to kill me? Or that time we had COVID. You also caught the COVID.
I caught it.
You now tell me, see now.
See
what should have just come and carry you away. But no, you didn't. We weathered the storm together, even with our son. And such a thing really affects marriages.
Yes, now that's what we are talking about. Signs that you are growing together. When your husband or your spouse makes a mistake, and you begin to use it against them and say, look at, Maybe you have paid for the house. Maybe they have duped us. Ogbo, that's how you be behaving. You mess up your husband. Even if the situation turns around, you cannot say, sorry, did I really abuse you? But don't you see that you to behave like Ogbo?
Then even when an outsider is coming in to ask, you just be putting everything. It's him. Don't even look at me. He's the one doing it.
Wow. So that's a sign
You
that
even
you
expose the inadequacy
of your spouse.
Of your spouse.
So that is a sign that you are not growing together. If you like, you have been married
for 40 years.
For 40 years, you are not growing together.
We see people all around now. They will boast, I've been married for 30 years. But we can see that you are both apart.
I will never forget attending a meeting where a man of God came to share the vision of what God wanted him to do. They were already pastoring. And this man of God brought his wife and some other people. I was there too. And as he began to share the vision, the wife just, one man just raised an objection and said, why are you saying that God sent you to reach people and everything? The wife just said, I've told him that this is vision. If you see the way the man said, don't tell me I don't know what it was the man's wife that scattered the meeting. And I just stood up and I began to defend the man. And the man, the man cooked for us food and helped to share his vision. And these were a couple that I was looking up to. But I said, no. I can look up to you in other areas, but not in this area. No, not in this. But I've seen some couples, fantastic couples, that, okay, look at the man you talked about the other day, that if he has an issue with his wife, the woman will just look at him as Baba landlord, and they handle conflicts constructively, not destructively. They don't attack personalities, they attack issues. Is an issue-based thing, not
let's talk about it.
Let's talk about the issue.
Let's talk about you.
Let's talk about you. Look at this one. I like this one. Say you share more laughter. People think you have to attend a night of 1,000 laugh to laugh. You can laugh at home.
We do that a lot.
Do we?
Whoa, not even from the day one. That's one of the things that made me to be so much in love with you.
So I was cracking. I was doing comedy show for you.
I'm telling you, that's why I don't need to lie. I don't need to go to night of 1,000 laughs.
Because
you give me in those.
Laughter is a powerful indicator of a couple's health. If you find yourself laughing more together, it means you are not only enjoying each other's company, but also creating positive memories. And one thing about marriage is that your spouse will not want to be at home if they know that they would always frown. You will always make their own dull man. They will not want to be at home.
You just make the environment to be unbearable.
And that's why you see that the beer parlor is always filled with guys.
They will now come
But where do the ladies now go? Guys go to beer parlor. Where do the ladies
go? Because they have children.
Oh.
They can't leave the children. They can't leave the children.
Wow.
They will stay at home. Then if they don't have children, they too can go to their friend's house and then come back in the night.
Wow.
Oh, join. Both of them will now meet at home.
Wow. But one of the questions I even want to ask, why would you find it difficult to share good laughter with your spouse? Why?
Well, one of it is background. Where, we talk about your background, where you're coming out from. If you don't have such experience, if you have not enjoyed seeing your parents happy together, then it might affect.
My dad was a comedian. My father was a comedian. No dull moment.
My father wasn't.
Wow.
But thank God I met you. Yes, my father is a very rigid person. My mom is a very lovely and wonderful, but my father, but thank God for you. Thank God for my mom, and thank God for you. Telling you. That really helped. So you can imagine where I was coming from when you met me.
And I now come with Ojuo style. You just Number 8 sign that you are growing together, you respect each other's space. This one is very, very important.
MySpace.com.
MySpace.com. Oh, they said there's MySpace.com. Said understanding and respecting each other's need for individual space is crucial in growing together as a couple. You know, there a lot of the times I see people who can't stand alone in marriage, as in anytime their spouse leaves the house, there's this sense of insecurity. You know, for example, the guy mustn't hang out with friends, the lady mustn't have friends anymore. You say, I'm your best friend. No doubt.
No doubt.
We can be each other's best friend.
But let's
still
have
give
other
me
friends
the permission
now.
to have friends.
Let's have other friends.
Because I had friends before I met you. You had friends before you met me. And they are still my friends.
Yes.
Because we need to respect each other's
space.
There are times when we will even be at home together and you just crawl into the bedroom.
Yes, now.
And you'll be wondering, where is my spouse? Where is this person? You know, some of these things that we are mentioning, they are so vital because, like I said the other time, a lot of the times, what really causes the problem is not what people will say. And this could be the issue. You know, and I even see some ladies that will decide that, okay, you know what, if you have to go and watch the football, let me go and watch it with you. Now, there's nothing wrong in you going to hang out with him.
But not all the time.
Not all the time.
You can go.
Not all the time.
You know, there are times where you say, I want to go and watch football somewhere. I won't
in
need
the viewing
to follow
center. You know, there's the viewing center effect.
I know. So when I
like
say I will
that
follow
viewing
you,
center.
why?
It's not that you can. Sometimes you want to invite, but sometimes you want to go to that viewing center. You know, where strangers that you know,
I don't
where
like
everybody's
such a thing anyway. So
where everybody's an analyst. So it's important that you respect each other's space. That you get to a point in your marriage where you know that the fact that my husband left me at home doesn't mean that he doesn't love me. The fact that my husband left me at home doesn't mean that he wants to. He doesn't respect me. Some people will even start fuming and, you know, swelling up once the man gets home.
And that's why they will call some people rude abokoku. Or they will say, chauffeur wo enu ẹ lọ ni. Oh, fún ní space there, jẹ́ kó ti rìn.
But you know, that's where communication comes out. It comes
Yes.
in again. In most cases, some of the guys, they are not even enjoying that choking.
They can't.
They are not enjoying that choking.
Will any lady too enjoy choking?
But some ladies enjoy it. Some ladies enjoy it. Maybe you are the one that called them brute abokoku. Number 10, you talk about the future together. You talk about the future together.
Where are we going?
Where are we going?
heading?
The future doesn't happen to us. We design the future.
The future.
So in some marriages, they don't design the future. The future just happens to them. You know, the man comes one day and say, we are relocating.
Surprise.
Not even we are relocating. I'm relocating. I'll never forget a guy that, you know, wanted to travel out, you know, without the consent of his wife. Wanted to travel out without the consent of his wife. I don't know how he managed to keep his documents in a place where the wife saw it. I was there that day. The wife just took the document like this. Baba ekpe.
Betu.
Ṣé British Embassy. Wọ́n ò ní fún ẹ láyé ẹ ṣorí passport.
Oh my God.
Because the guy didn't want to talk about the future with his wife.
With his wife. He
wanted to go into the future alone. And the guy said, oh, ni wo future.
After ọmọ mélòó.
Ìwọ kò sí future fún ẹ. You know, and it's a sign that you are not growing together. Growing together requires you talk together about where you are going together. We are going together. In fact, talk about the future, talk about death. In fact, that's the one I do recently now. When I saw Psalm 90 verse 12, Pastor K said when he read that scripture at home with his wife, the wife said, let's not talk about that side. That's not what the Bible says. Teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts to wisdom. Teach us. That means tell us how much time we have to live so that we will know. Because if, you know, for me, I just realized that if I know I have 20 more years to live, how do you think I will live the 20 years?
Live the 20 years.
Will I live it anyhow?
No.
The reason why people live their life anyhow is because they think they will live forever. Yes, you will live forever, but not on this side of eternity. So talk about the future together.
You know, I know of a couple. They are both late now. The wife died first at the age of 45. And when we went to bury the wife, she was buried where they both bought.
That's serious. That's serious talking about the future. That means they even bought where they will be buried.
I'm telling you. They travel abroad, you know, because at an early age, they have achieved so much.
They were both bankers.
45. Then a few
died.
years later, the man died.
So they went to bury him.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're not... Bọ́lámà sí wọ́n
Ó
sí
fẹ́
sí.
jẹ́ kí n ra sàárè mi fẹ́ mọ sàárè mi o. Kí ló dé òní mọ sàárè? Okay, don't you have sàárè?
Okay, o mọ sàárè o ní sàárè.
Talk about the future together. You know the very funny thing? A lot of people enjoy talking about the past.
Not the future.
Not the future. They talk about what has passed. They refuse to talk about what is coming. It's a sign of immaturity. It's sign, and then some even go and be talking about the future with their friends. You are designing a future
with someone you are not going into the future with.
What a shame.
But in the next 10 years, Bolamawa, as in position Wolamawa, Ilu Wolamafewa. You know, it's planning, serious planning, and it's communication.
And it's a good sign that you are growing.
That you are growing together.
I think one of the things we have to do today is when we get home, let's talk about the future. Let's talk about the future. We talk about the future, but let's talk more about the future. Wow. This has been a wonderful episode.
It has.
God bless you. Thanks for hosting this program with me.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Me and My Waka Partner. If you enjoyed our conversation today, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never, ever miss any episode. We would also love to hear, your thoughts, your comments, your feedbacks, things you believe or topics you believe we should discuss. So please drop a comment below in the comment section or connect with us on all our social media platforms so that the conversation can continue. Like we say at the end of every episode, see you in the next episode, and bye. And God bless. Thank you.